Let's bring in Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. You have seen the surge that Kamala Harris has made in the polls since she became the de facto nominee. What do you think is going on, and can the former president blunt that surge?
Oh, John, I think the more the American people get to know about her, the less they're going to like her policies. And that is what this election is going to be about. When you look at her being the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act and the American Recovery Act, when you look at the fact that she never even actually went to the border, she went near the border. She didn't call the Border Patrol chiefs. She is for allowing illegals to vote. She is for doing away with private health insurance and doing the Medicaid for All program. She is for defunding ICE. She has all of these policies that are outside the American mainstream. And as people begin to realize what she is for, then they're going to change their opinion of her and as they get to know what she stands for. But she has been voted the most liberal senator in the U.S. Senate. That was in 2019. At that time, I was voted the most conservative. So she was really the 180 from me.
But as you know, she hasn't had a news conference since she became the de facto nominee. If nobody is allowed to ask her those questions about her positions on some of these issues, and if she just is able to get up on stage and, spout campaign themes or recite a stump speech, will people ever find out what she really believes?
Oh, I think they will. And just as you mentioned, President Trump and Senator Vance are going to be across the country this week. I'm going to be across Tennessee and also in a couple of other states campaigning and making certain that people know what her policies are, and to know that she's for defunding the police, that she has been soft on crime, knowing where she stands on the Green New Deal. She was a co-sponsor of that, knowing what her voting record was when she was in the Senate, and understanding how little she has done as vice president. She has all of these great ideas, but John, she has had over 1,300 days to enact those ideas, but has chosen not to do so.
When asked who could better handle immigration and the situation at the southern border, in our Fox News polling, voters say Trump does better by 14 points, 56 to 42 over Kamala Harris. Senator Mark Kelly, of course, comes from a border state. He was one of the people who was in the running to be her vice president, we're told. He says that she understands the issues on the border. Listen to your fellow senator.
Yeah, she does. Absolutely. And I think when we talk about some of the Democrats in the United States Senate that weren't really getting it in 2022, now they get it. And that's why we were going to be able to provide, I think the plan was we were going to provide about 40 votes, the Republicans about 20. We would get the legislation passed, and then we could move on to some of the other stuff that Vice President Harris has talked about, which is comprehensive immigration reform.
He was, of course, referring to that so-called bipartisan border or immigration reform bill. So Democrats, he says, didn't understand the seriousness of the situation in 2022, but now they do. What do you make of that?
I think that the Democrats chose not to understand the seriousness of this situation, and they have wanted to say it was not a big issue. And now that the top two issues are the economy and the border, and the Biden-Harris border policy has been an open border. When you look at the fact that under President Trump, we had the most secure border that we had had in years. And John, now 10 million people that have come across that border, people from over 150 different countries coming in here. You look at the tens of thousands of Chinese, the number of known terrorists, even last week, admitting that 99 known terrorists had been released in the country this year. And you look at these numbers and you look at the gangs and the crime in communities all across this country. Every town's a border town. Every state's a border state. You look at the death by fentanyl, the crimes carried out against women and children by some of these criminal illegal aliens. And the American people understand this issue much more than my Democratic colleagues have understood this issue. And now they're having to say, let's do something about it because it's election time. And that and the economy are the top two issues.
Very quickly, I want to play some sound from New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. Listen to this.
She was able to kind of establish this resurgence, and her team has done a very good job of kind of avoiding the issues, trying to make people believe that she hasn't been there for 4 years, and they've done a very good job of that, at the same time kind of capitalizing on Trump's reaction, right? They knew that the former president can be a very reactionary person. Almost any other Republican candidate would be winning this race by 10 points, and so the message is very clear. If you stick to the issues, if you stick to what matters, this should be an easy race for Donald Trump.
He says that it's tougher for the former president to beat Kamala Harris than Joe Biden. You agree?
As people look at Kamala Harris's policies and as they get to know her and as they look at this chaotic Democrat National Convention that is going to take place this week, what they are going to see is policies that are so far outside of the mainstream of what they believe and what they are hoping for their families. You know, John, people are tired of being broke and they want to see this economy put back on a firm footing. And because of this economy and immigration issues, a lot of these voters are going to move to supporting President Trump and Senator Vance.
All right. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. Senator, thank you.
Good to see you.